What's up, everybody? I'm Brett Medlock here today with Mario Piaquadio.
Hi, everybody.
Today we are gonna try and start a new little video series slash podcast type thing where we're just gonna focus on one game series as a whole and chat about each installment in the franchise every episode, so we can give a nice lengthy chat about each title.
Yeah, that's cool.
Our first franchise that we're talking about in franchise chat. I'm not sure if I said the name. Did I?
I think so, yeah. It's franchise chat.
Okay. Well, the first one is Uncharted.
Yeah.
And with Uncharted 4 right around the corner, we couldn't help but do this one first since we are so anxious to finally play Uncharted 4.
Yeah, I can't wait for Uncharted 4.
After the many, many delays.
Yeah.
You make it sound so dirty.
Let's jump right into it. Uncharted Drake's Fortune. When was the first time you played this game?
I played this game about 3 years ago, I think, for the first time. I actually played the Uncharted franchise backwards. I played...
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I did something similar.
Yeah, I played... 3 was my first game, then I jumped back to 2, and then I played 1. And it's recent on the memory because I played the Nathan Drake collection. I played it in the right order.
Yeah, I played Uncharted 2, then got 3, and then I couldn't help but finish off the trilogy and go back and play 1. And a lot of people told me it was going to be hard to go back to that, but I honestly think it held up fine.
Yeah, so do I. The Uncharted 2 definitely has some improvements. It's a bit more grand. It has like a lot. It feels more epic, but Uncharted 1 still holds up as a good game, especially in the Nathan Drake collection without the six-axis controls.
Oh yeah, I'm glad they changed the six-axis controls and the remastering.
Yeah, that was really just Sony trying to push new things, and it didn't really work very well. But
yeah, I hated that you had to choose a grenade. It just wasn't a button on your controller.
yeah, it was kind of annoying, but you get used to it. And like we said, with Nathan Drake collection, it's gone.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed about Uncharted Drake's Fortune is the banter between the characters. I feel in the very first game is the most like charming and funny.
It
I don't
is.
know.
It's really the thing is, Uncharted 1 is when the relationship between Elena and Drake starts to begin. So it's a very special time in their lives that you never really get because they start off like in the beginning of the game. Drake ditches Elena. Then they meet again, and it's this kind of fun banter between the two, kind of flirty, and it's really, really fun.
Yeah, and just the whole cast. I feel like in the original Uncharted, they really like, I don't know, they achieved something great that wasn't in a lot of story games before.
They nailed it. Yeah, Uncharted was a very special game when it came out. It from the graphics to everything to the story, it was something different, something we hadn't seen before.
Exactly, and I gotta say, I honestly go back and forth favorites wise between Uncharted 1 and 2. Well, okay, my favorite is Uncharted 3, and then I go back and forth between 1 and 2.
My favorite is Uncharted 3 as well. Then I think 2, and I'm actually a bit torn between Golden Abyss, the Vita one, and Uncharted 1. Golden Abyss is really good.
Yeah, it seems like the natural way of the Uncharted favorite to least favorite for most people. I think we're like more in the minority. Most people like 2.
Like 2 better, yeah.
Then 3, then 1, then Golden Abyss.
The thing is, most people I think like 2 better because the jump from 1 to 2 was very big. The just in graphics and the grander scale of things, there's there's some set pieces in Uncharted 2 that are mind blowing.
And Uncharted 2 nailed pacing a lot better than Uncharted 1 did.
Yeah, it did. Uncharted 1 has some pacing issues. It also has a couple of spots that are kind of weird with the enemies. Like, you just get waves and waves of enemies that get kind
Yeah.
of annoying. But they learned. Uncharted 2 doesn't have them as much, and Uncharted 3 is damn near perfect.
Yeah, I agree. Uncharted 3 is the epitome of the series as right now.
I agree.
Until we play 4, and then maybe we'll change our minds.
I agree. Yeah, and the big thing is the leap from Uncharted 3 to what 4 seems to be doing seems to be a similar leap that was from the original Uncharted to Uncharted 2. There's a lot of new stuff in Uncharted 4. For example, I've seen all the demos. I didn't want to, but I've seen them just because I'm so anxious to get the game. There's a
Yeah.
lot of things they've grabbed from the Last of Us series, like for example the optional chats between the characters. That's gonna be
Yes.
available. There's gonna be journal entries, so you're gonna walk around, and there's gonna be a journal telling you story. The set pieces seem to be a little bit more open. So Uncharted 4 seems to be the same thing, but just blown up.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't want to go too far into the other games of the series because I want to focus on the original. But yeah, Uncharted 4 looks awesome.
Yeah, it does.
And I think it getting all its inspiration from The Last of Us and the Uncharted, the series as a whole.
Exactly.
I think it's going to be something really special, but
So do
all
I.
I can do is hope.
Yeah. Okay. We just have to wait a bit over 10 days, and then we're gonna get the game.
Yeah, I'm still hoping and praying that I get a review copy, but that might not happen.
I hope so. I hope so. Yeah.
Anyway, Uncharted 1. One
Uncharted.
thing that I think that game does better than any of the other ones is it gives you that what the fuck moment of all of a sudden these zombie monsters start attacking you.
Exactly. Yeah. It was when you see the game at demos or before, when you play the game, you don't expect some supernatural things to happen. But when you get down to, I think it was the sewers, that you start watching the videos and then the zombies jump out. It's such a,
It
like you
literally-
said, yeah, it's such a what the fuck is going on?
It turns into like a horror game out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's that part is scary. The zombies are fucking scary.
Yeah, like I had my friend play through the series for the first time just a couple months ago, and he had no clue about anything, and he said he literally had to set the controller down and go take a break because he was so scared in those damn sewers.
Exactly. Yeah, it was very unexpected. The other games you kind of expect it because that's where it goes. But like you said, it was just very different. In Uncharted 1, it felt more like an action movie. Like, you think you're gonna get to the bad guy and you're gonna fag the bad guy and that's it. And then when the El Goddamn Dorado, when when you figure out what it does and it's cursed, it's very strange, but it's great. I think it adds a great twist.
I've never seen a twist quite like that. That's so unexpected in a game.
Yeah, it's out of the left field for sure.
With a game that's so bright and so like just like charming, the characters and the world. It's almost like a Jack and Daxter game, which makes sense.
Yeah,
And,
because it's Jack and Daxter next gen, you can say.
yeah, and it basically goes from Jack and Daxter to Resident Evil, like I don't know, just a horror game in the matter of like 2 minutes.
Yeah, and when you're in the sewers, you start the ammo is a bit sparse, so it's practically a survival horror game at that point, which is brilliant. It's so out of the left field and so well done. That's probably my favorite part of the game.
Yeah, same here. And that reason alone, I feel like goes. A lot of people forget about that moment, and I think that moment's special, and that's why it's hard for me to say Uncharted 2 is better than Uncharted 1 because. I don't know. Something really special about Uncharted 1.
Yeah, that's right. It's special. It's a special game for sure. And the thing is, all the other Uncharted games take place on a very different set pieces. You go from one place to another, and Uncharted 1 is basically set in one island, in one place, and that gives it sort of a claustrophobic feeling, but in a good way.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And which is another reason why, because of the fact that the game primarily takes place in the jungle.
exactly.
When you're all of a sudden like thrusted into these like downstairs sewers, you're like, wow, this really was a change of pace.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very different change of pace, but it's great. It's beautifully done.
There's also one thing that I love about the game is something that The Last of Us didn't do until the DLC came out, which is you have these like monster zombies. I can't remember what they were, like some type of.
Yeah, I think
I don't know.
if they were Nazis, if I can remember right. They were something like that.
They looked like the monsters from Infamous.
Yeah.
Or I guess Infamous monsters look like the monsters from Uncharted.
Exactly. Yeah, because Uncharted dropped first. That's right.
Well, anyway, they allowed you to have both of them on the field at the same time. So you're letting the monsters kill the other team
Yeah.
before you even like.
Exactly.
Before
You
even
can
thrust
just
yourself into battle.
you can hang back and let them fight each other and drop in numbers, and then you go in and kill everybody.
Yeah, and the Last of Us didn't do that, unfortunately, at all in the multiplayer.
Yeah,
but
they
didn't do
they
it.
did it on Left Behind, which I think was brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they probably wanted to do that because of how awesome it was in Uncharted 1.
Exactly. Yeah, that's probably where they got the inspiration from.
Yep, and move along to a different topic about Uncharted 1 is, my god, it is the hardest Uncharted game.
For sure, that game's tough. Like I said, there's some moments in the game where there's a wave of enemies and you take them down and you think that that you're done, and 5 waves of enemies keep coming at you, and in the harder difficulties, it's very tough.
Yeah, so Uncharted 1 on PS3 on crushing difficulty
Oh
is
man,
the hardest game I've ever beaten and the hardest game I've ever platinumed.
it's really really tough. I definitely agree. On crushing, it's damn near impossible.
I feel like they nerfed it a bit in the remastering. I beat it on crushing and got the platinum again.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily they nerfed it, but when you're in cover, the game is more aware that you're trying to be in cover. So even if bullets could hit you, they don't in the remastered version.
Yeah, I agree. They toned it down a bit because it doesn't really go that well with what the franchise was. With the franchise, there's some moments that it's cool to have a little bit of difficulty, but I think it's more about the fun of it than really soul crushing moments.
Yeah, and I still can't decide if I want to play Uncharted 4 the first time on the hardest difficulty
Yeah,
or if I'll wait. I don't know.
I didn't know too. I wanted to play on the hardest difficulty, but I think for my first playthrough, I'm gonna play on normal. Just explore as much as I can, have as much fun, and then jump out into the rest of the difficulties. Because I just wanna just play the game and enjoy myself, not really worry about, oh man, this part is really hard.
I'll talk about Uncharted 4 for a second. There's one thing that worries me is I noticed that there's a lot more open areas.
There
and,
is.
Rise of the Tomb Raider did the exact same thing. I think that's a bit weird since they both seem
Yeah.
to get ideas from one another.
There,
Obviously, the games were being developed simultaneously, so they couldn't steal that particular idea. But
yeah, they take those two franchises take a lot of inspiration from each other, and it's kind of funny because the first Uncharted game took a lot of inspiration from the original Tomb Raider games, and then the Tomb Raider remake took a lot of inspiration from Uncharted.
exactly.
Yeah,
And
like you were saying with sorry about that.
no, go ahead.
Like you were saying with Uncharted 4, there's a lot of new stuff that they're adding to the game that I was a little bit wary of because, like you said, the areas are a bit more open. It's still a linear game, but there's a little bit of more exploration. And
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's still mainly a linear game.
yeah, I think it will be, but I saw, I don't know if you saw the Jeep gameplay. They released,
Yeah.
well, Yeah, that was a bit of an open area, but there still was a linear path, but you could go to a house, and that house has a journal entry and stuff like that. Maybe it's good. I trust Naughty Dog. They're honestly one of the best developers out there. They
Oh yeah.
also added in Uncharted 4 the ability to mark enemies. I really didn't know how I felt about that, but like I said, I trust Naughty Dog. To me, they're the most talented developer out there.
Yeah, I agree. I was a bit scared about that too, but you know, I
Yeah,
trust them.
I trust
They're
them.
Naughty Dog.
They're very good. I mean, these
Alright.
are the two guys behind The Last of Us, and if they could do that, I believe in them.
Yeah, same here. They they did take over a bit late in the development,
They did, yeah.
but
The development of Uncharted had a bit of trouble, and that could maybe be a little bit of why it got delayed a bit.
yeah. And one thing that's interesting is they've already confirmed DLC, which
Yeah, single
is
player DLC.
it's cool because we get more Uncharted, but it's weird because we're playing through the game right now, but we know in some way we're getting more Uncharted. So either Nathan Drake's not dying, which everyone just thinks he's gonna die,
Somebody
or
has to die. Somebody.
or we're playing DLC as a different character, which would be interesting.
Yeah, maybe you play DLC as his brother or something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know. I'm very excited for Uncharted. I got a little bit scared for a while, but I trust Naughty Dog fully, and I'm very excited.
same here. All right, now let's switch it back to Uncharted One.
Yeah.
It is kind of cool though to talk about Uncharted One and then realize the kind of ideas that they're taking from the franchise as a whole.
Yeah, the franchise as a whole, it's PlayStation's Halo. Uncharted became huge for PlayStation, and it all started with the vision of Uncharted 1. And when people saw that, it was very strange to see the team that did Crash games and Jack and Daxter just suddenly jump to a photorealistic game that was about exploring the jungles and capturing treasure. That was very strange, but when people got their hands on it, they realized the amazing minds behind Naughty Dog and how they're able to tell stories and have awesome gameplay behind it.
Yeah, and just the fact that like every iteration that they make of the series always adds something new and something fresh to the
Yeah,
table.
and improves every. To me,
Yeah.
every game it improves a little bit of what every game did before.
Yeah, and there's a lot of little like subtle improvements that people tend to forget about, like from Uncharted 2 to 3. Like if you're like above an enemy and you just like running next to him, you can just jump down and
Jump
just,
down and take him down. That was a
like
very cool thing. Yeah.
yeah, I use that all the time, and I feel like no one ever really talks about how awesome that is.
Yeah, that's true. That's very useful.
But anyway, Uncharted 1, one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, same here. The Uncharted franchise as a whole, it's one of my favorite franchises out there.
Yeah, there is problems like repetitiveness, but
Yeah,
you know,
but it's
it's still
just a fun game. It's not. I think the Uncharted games are, especially one, they're the perfect length. You can sit
oh
down
yeah.
with them for maybe a weekend and just sit down and play for a weekend, and then you're done. And it's just a fun ride. It's a fun action movie, but in a video game, and not many video games do that.
Yeah, a lot of games are scared to do like the 8 to 12 hour story because they feel like that like people might not be getting their money's worth. But when it's a high action, amazing story and presentation like Uncharted, it's worth every second.
It is. It is. It's just wonderful. It's just very fun. There's a lot of moments that you even laugh. I think Nathan Drake is so funny. He does a lot of silly stuff, and it's funny. It's fun and funny and a lot of action and over the top, and it's just great.
We'll start wrapping up, but if you had one final thing to say about Uncharted Drake's Fortune, what would it be?
I would say that Uncharted 1 changed the way we see games. especially on the PlayStation ecosystem. It changed the way to tell stories, and it changed the way to sort of mix presentation, story, and gameplay into one huge and awesome journey.
And I would absolutely agree, and I wouldn't even know how to explain that without using the same exact sentence as you.
Yeah, it's just marvelous. I'm so happy we got that game because it changed everything after that.
Changed everything. Gave us
Yeah.
the PlayStation brand, the most exciting and best exclusive.
Yeah, the PlayStation brand, I'm 100% sure would be very different if Uncharted 1 hadn't came out.
Alright, and if you are listening to this episode, please tell us what you think, and we will try to fix what we did wrong or do something better. This is our first time doing franchise chat. Next episode will be Uncharted 2, and we'll talk
Yeah.
about why that game's awesome.
Yeah, we're definitely open to criticism, to constructive criticism. Anything you think can make the series better, we're open to it, and we have our ears open.
Yep, and we will probably talk a lot more about Uncharted 4 on accident like we did this episode.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm just too excited for it.
Alright, see you guys later.
Bye.